What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about Lucid. So there's been a lot of big updates recently and I wanted to go over a hot topic only because I see a lot of comments in my previous videos on social media, a lot of individuals bringing it up. But the whole reverse stock split has people now assuming that Lucid is going to significantly dilute. And I wanted to go over if that is true, when I feel like more dilution is going to occur. I'm going to go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. And again, I know this is a hot topic. Some people might not agree with me on that. But I always like to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly. And clearly, a lot of people are talking about this. So I think just generally speaking, the whole mentality of a reverse stock split has just a negative viewpoint, and that's just because a lot of stocks do heavily rely on it in the market to kind of avoid delisting. So I think just a lot of crappy stocks in the market reverse stock split and then also just excessively dilute. So I think with Lucid announcing the reverse stock split, people are going to be assuming that Lucid is just going to kill shareholder equity and that you're going to have a similar stock, such as, even for an example, I covered this one, Hologram down 98.73%. So again, they do reverse stock splits, and even other stocks such as this, I'm sure another popular one, they are going for, I think, the record of splits, but a lot of people assume that this type of scenario is going to play out. So in my opinion, given the circumstances, as I've been open about and honestly very accurate, is that I do feel, based on how much they have for cash and cash equivalents, so as of the end of March, they had 1.8 billion in cash and cash equivalents, short-term investments 1.7 billion. How much they are burning through, for instance, between roughly about 400 to 500 million every quarter. So essentially, if you kind of figure it out, they will need to dilute by the end of either Q3 or possibly in the first little bit of Q4. And as I've stated, I know this, even though Lucid comes out and says, hey, we have sufficient amount of cash well into 2026, since 2022, I've been openly calling them out, initially when it was 𝗪𝗧𝗪𝗧, and I've been accurate like every single time on generally the time frame. So when they say that they have sufficient cash until 2026, that's if maybe they deplete all of their cash. But no stock ever does that. No company ever does that. Why would you wait, even on a personal level, wait up until you have zero cash to start looking for more? You always do it ahead of time. So this is why, again, tail end of Q3, if not Q4, is when they will need to dilute. So in my opinion, though, if Lucid really did have bad intentions, they would actually be adding more proposals to the upcoming shareholder meeting. More specifically, one to the AS, so authorized shares, and then the OS. So a lot of companies, such as some of the ones I did bring up, that have excessively diluted and reverse stock splitted and all the other fun jazz, they tend to have also various proposals where they raise these. So the authorized share count and the outstanding share count. And my apologies for my crappy penmanship or mousemanship, but nonetheless, though, the fact that Lucid is only willing to do the reverse stock split, not amend the outstanding or authorized share count, shows that they have good intention. And so on a side note, all of that does get affected. So since they are now wanting to do a 1-for-10 reverse stock split, their authorized share count will go from, I believe it is 15 billion to the 1.5 billion. So that will get amended. Same with the outstanding share count. Outstanding share count, we don't necessarily officially know. We'll have to wait up until Lucid's upcoming earnings, which is slated for August the 5th. We'll be able to see a little bit more clarity for that. But this is me just kind of popping on, going over when I feel they will be diluting next, if Lucid actually has good intentions behind all of this. And I know this is all very hot topic stuff, so I'm sure some of you are wanting to kill me right now and cringe just by the fact that I mentioned that they are needing to dilute. But I always like to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Even though I own Lucid, I always like to acknowledge negatives, because I never want someone to come out and be like, hey, Cal, you never told me this. You are trying to skew people. I always like to be completely open to everything. So that's what I feel as a good investor. If you can acknowledge the negatives and still willing to be bullish on the stock, which I am. This is why I cover it. This is why I have a dedicated channel to Lucid. If you can actually accept negatives, that makes you a better investor, in my opinion. So moral of the story is that I think that, yes, reverse stock splits do suck. Given the circumstances, it might be somewhat okay. And as I mentioned in my video last couple days, I think the reason why they are doing this reverse stock split is to get out of the penny stock status. And that is because they have a potential deal with a hedge fund, because hedge funds will be the only ones caring about the penny stock status. Uber and other OEMs, they won't necessarily care. So I think there is a bigger deal coming, as what Mark mentioned, for their upcoming earnings on August the 5th. So let me know your general thoughts. Do you think that I am completely off topic, I'm wrong, or do you think that, I don't know, the reverse stock split is going to really just destroy the company? Again, a lot of people assume reverse stock splits just cause like 90% of a pullback in the broader market, or in the stock price. And in some cases, as what I showed you with this stock, yes, it is down 100%. And I didn't think that is actually possible to be down 100% on anything. But even bringing this one up right here that has done a lot of reverse stock splits and has a lot of toxic debt, this one, it's still down 98.73%. So people assume that this type of scenario is going to play out, but I feel like Lucid's kind of circumstances are different. I could be wrong. Let me know your general thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Hopefully everyone's having a kick-ass weekend. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.